Good evening, everyone. So hopefully this time round you might be able to see actually hear me talk. Fingers crossed you can hear me okay. So I did a live video yesterday, and as luck would have it, for some reason half the sound didn't work. So hopefully you can hear me all right. I guess it's probably where I covered the microphone. So give you a second walk round, and we'll talk through each bay again, one by one. There's 16 bays, 1,300 aircraft, over 130 Spitfires, over 100 odd Mustangs. So there's quite a bit in there. If I'm going through it and you want me to stop at any certain bit, I'll try and keep an eye on all the comments. I'm more than happy to stop at each bit. Thank you, Zahar, for letting me know the sound is fine. So we're going to start again. So bay number one. I think I mentioned it last time round as well. This is my favourite bay. This is the aircraft that made me fall in love with aviation. Even as a little kid, I could tell the difference. As a 2-3-year-old, I could tell the difference between this and the Hurricane. And it was drummed in for me from a young age from my dad, who was ex-Air Force. He didn't work on Spitfires, so he wasn't that old. He worked on Canberras and Victors. But this was the aircraft that obviously... Well, the British public seemed to think won the Battle of Britain. It didn't. It was, it was a massive joint effort through all the aircraft, mainly this and the Hurricane, but obviously not taking into account the Gladiators, the Defiance, the Ansons, where Bomber Command were trained on. But this is the aircraft, and this is the plane that really, really sparked my love for aircraft. And of course, it's the Spitfire. So this bay contains, if I take a step back, pretty much not all the Spitfires in the collection. There's a few other bits dotted around because, as ever, you don't ever have enough room. So let's go through the top shelf. The top shelf is made up mainly of the newest Mark 1. So you've got J up there, which is obviously P9374, which is up there with my favourite Spitfires now, living in the United States. You've got KLB, which is Aldea's, and that's Kiwi 3, I think it is, obviously now flying with the Battle of Britain Memorial flight. You've got a Code 3 one, which I made up from the Dunkirk film, which is LC, so I guess that would be Fortress Leader. Thank you, David, really appreciate it. You ain't seen all of it yet, mate. And you've got Sandy Johnston's, and of course QV, the one which is based at Duxford, which is N3200, owned by the Imperial War Museum. And you've got NFY, which I believe is part of the Blitz set, with the Messerschmitt and the Heinkel. And on the second shelf, mainly Mark 1s again, including some Battle of Britain Memorial flights, one in terms of QJK, which is a Battle of Britain. Is that Bob Doe's? I think it might be Bob Doe's. And EBQ as well, which is Eric Locks. You've got XTW on there. You've got the a Code 3 KLA, which is basically the version which is at Duxford at the moment. You've got XTD. And then at the front, you've got a few Mark 5s. So you've got... in terms of this one here, the Dieppe Braid one, the Garden Party Corgi Collectors Club one, and then you've got what was known as the Great Escape set, which is obviously that one there, that's beautiful, that one. There's a black and white wing Spitfire as well. Then you've got Van der Stock, I forget the other two pilots, so apologies. Then we get into more Mark 1s, so more Battle of Britain fare, and various marks in there, makes in there, including... ZPA, which is obviously Salem Lands, who live relatively close to where I live now. So going back down, then you get into the Mark 5s, like the green and grey stuff in there, including some Amicons. You've got the Russian Spit, you got some Yank Spits, and a couple of Geminis at the front. I thought it was all on one shelf, but no, they're probably my favourite brand of Spitfire, although that garish green is completely and utterly wrong, but we forgive them for that. A couple of other bits on there in terms of Forces of Valour one there as well, which is relatively nice. That's a Hornchurch based aircraft as well, VSH. Then we're into D-Day, so mainly Corgi. You've got a Forces of Valour one in there as well, the one that's got NN on, some Witty and a Dragon. Then you've got the Royal Australian Air Force ones, so you've got 5 of those in there, including UPA, UPV. You've got Caldwell's one, got the Mark 8 as well. And Grey Nurse at the front. Then we're into the big boys. So this is dedication, all right. I need locking up, I think. Then you've got all the Griffins, including this absolutely gorgeous RN201, which again is one of my favourite Spitfires, currently based at Duxford. Real beautiful aircraft. Hopefully you can hear me all right. If there's any issues with sound, let me know. And then into a bit of a PR shelf, photo recon shelf. Various ones, including the Southeastern Air, Asian Command aircraft as well, and a couple of Code 3s I made. And you've got an easy model one at the front there as well, including some other Witty and easy models. Then we're into the Geminis, mainly all Geminis along that bit there. And you can see a couple of Witties in there as well, and you've got the Night Fighter black one, Battle Britain Memorial Fight ones, including another RFD, so Donald Duck, which this one with the 3-blade prop rather than the 4-blade prop. And finally on the bottom is the Desert Air Force, including a nice spider web in this corner, including obviously the Berlin one there. You've got the historic aircraft one, Men's over Malta as well. That's one of two in the collection because I've got 2 sets. So then on the second bay. Second bay is the Hawk Hurricanes, and on the top is mainly the new ones, including SDX, SDF as well, Ginger Laces, and then you've got a couple of 313 squadrons, so the Polish aircraft. I made a Code 3 RFE as well there. Then the next shelf you've got, that's an easy model. I haven't put the decals on yet. It's meant to be the BBMF night fighting aircraft. And that's all Battle of Britain aircraft, including the 2-blade Battle of France one. Then on to, excuse me, as I clear my throat, some other various Hurricanes there, including some later Mark Cannon ones, including Mark IIs, including the Battle of Britain Memorial one, the Wayland one there. And of course the last of the many, which technically falls into Battle of Britain as well, Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, I should say. Then on to a lot of night fighting Hurricanes, including a few Code 3s that I made myself, including the Forces of Valour one there. Got some South Eastern Asian Command ones, including the Singapore one, and the later Mark Cannons, there's another South Eastern Asian Command one as well, which is an easy model. Then on to the Desert Hurries. There we go, all the various ones there, including the Crete one, the lovely Malta one as well. And then we're on to Defiance. So all the Corgi Defiance are there, including some IXO ones and Oxford, a couple of Oxford ones and Atlas ones. So the Oxford one is the later Mark green and grey one. And of course PSA, which is, my brain has gone, what the brand is, and it will come to me, War Master. So we've got PSA and PSB, part of the same squadron. Obviously the PSB is the one that shot down the Goodwin Sands Dornier, which is late in the collection. Then on to Gladiators. You've got the Fighter Collection one at the back there, Gurin's Gladiator. The newest one at the front, HPB, which is the old Shuttleworth scheme. You've got a Code 3 Belgian one in there, and of course you've got Faith, Hope and Charity, plus some other Sea Hurricanes and Sea Glads, and of course you've got FTA, which the Hurricane, which couldn't fit on any of the other shelves, so it had to go there. Then the Gladiators brother, or bigger, uglier brother, which is the Lysander. Every single Lysander in there, including I believe there's an Oxford one right at the back, Target Tug one, and there's an Atlas one in there somewhere as well. Which one it is, I can't tell you. It might be that one there actually, with the F on the end, with the yellow cowling. And then the Battle of France section, including some De Watneys, a block, and some Maurice Saulniers as well. So little Battle of France section. Right. God, I'm out of breath already. I barely spoke. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. But like I said, if you want me to stop on anything, get some better pictures or some better video, just let me know as we're going, or any questions as we go. I'll try and keep an eye on it. So now on to mosquitoes. So on the top, I've got a couple of Royal Australian Air Force ones, Amiens range, which I've made one myself, which is VSB, which is in there. I don't know if you can see it. So you've got 3 in total, including the Corgi Legends one there, FEG. So all 3 of those are Amiens Raiders. And of course, got a prototype, which is a hard to find beast as well, which is at Salisbury Hall in Hatfield. Then we've got some PR stuff, including the Yank PR stuff, and some Banff bits and pieces, including the Model Zone one with the spiky nose. Now on the next shelf, we've got the BOAC one, some more D-Day ones. So that's a Banff one, I think the grey one. You've got an IXO one at the front there, which is also VSP, which is an Amiens Raider. You've got the Grim Reaper. Is that the Grim Reaper? I think it's called. You've got the Elvington one, which is now living at East Kirkby. and you've got another PR one and the Israeli one and another IXO underneath it. Then Southeastern Asian Command, you've got this Il Silver Royal Australian Air Force one, and of course the War Master, Solido War Master one at the front there, which is very nice. Some more D-Day based birds, including Guy Gibson's, and then at the back there, as you can see, a couple of Oxfords on Corgi stands, and of course the lovely Night Fighter, which young Daniel swapped with me. Then we're on the old string bags. Quite a few of these Corgi and Atlas in there as well, with the torpedoes, and a few more underneath it. Then we're into Typhoons, so I've got every Hawker Typhoon, including the Nazi one there. You've got some witty ones in there, and the IXO one in there as well. Rather nice, just looks so right in D-Day stripes. And of course, including the brand new one, or the newest one anyhow as it is, the Germany 1945 base one with missiles, rockets I should say on. Then we're on to its bigger, more beefy brother, and that's the Tempest. Hopefully that silver one at the front there is an Oxford one, but hopefully the one at Sidewell will look relatively similar with a blue prop, I believe, and it's going to look rather sexy. But of course the one at Sidewell was a Tempest 2, not a Tempest 5 with the Napier Sabre. And we've got loads of the Skymax ones in there as well, including IXO and Atlas. And the Skymax ones are stunning. If you haven't got on it, get onto them. They're fantastic. They're very expensive nowadays. And of course then it's even bigger brother, the Hawker Fury. We've got some T20s in there, including the Royal Australian Air Force ones. But again, I could not believe how many bloody Hawker Sea Furies I had, including the ISS Fury there on the bottom shelf. Of course, the RAF one, which is the Ormond Haley Bailey, I think it's called, the guy in the 70s who owned a lot of ex-military hardware, who sadly passed away. So then onto the US Army Air Force. So we've got some P-47s on the top there, including the Lanowski one, which is a lovely one. Rather garish blue one with the rockets on. And they're lovely. They're the Dragon ones, are the best in the business. Then on to the P-38s. Including that one there's lovely. The PR one from D-Day was stunning. Including Scrap Iron, which in fact is the pre-pro example, which I managed to buy on eBay at some point. So look at the very first one. It's pretty cool. It was damaged, unfortunately. I had to put a new propeller on it, but it's come up okay. Then on to another shelf of P-38s. You've got a couple of Witties on there. And IXOs as well, the pudgy one. Then onto the first lot of Mustangs. This is nowhere near the collection, but a considerable amount. And then including Daddy's Girl, which is a really nice version. Dooley Bird, Shangri-La, and of course you've got Cripes and Mighty. Also Petty Second, which is in fact a Matchbox one, and then Gemini C's at the front there with a Corgi C. Actually quite an interesting parallel. So the nearest one is the Corgi one, the further one back is the Gemini one. So much better. Hopefully I'll look at retooling that at some point. Then onto, this is sort of like the Duxford base bit. So we've got Big Beautiful Dole, Twilight Tear, both ferocious Frankies. You've got, I think that's a Petty Second, yeah, that's the Corgi version. And Miss Helen at the front. Hun Hunter, which is obviously at Duxford now. Then you've got an IXO, Big Beautiful Dole, and my favourite Stangen a lot, Princess Elizabeth. Then on to more P-47s, including a couple of Matchboxes at the back there, and then a lot of Dragons. But this is heading into the another Duxford section, so you've got Forces of Valour one there at the front. No Guts, No Glory. The IXO one's at the front, Zombie, No Guts, No Glory, and then the Forces of Valour one, and then that beautiful Corgi pair, Snafu and War Eagle. And then onto more Dragon and Corgi ones, as you can see. And then below that, more of the Sea Furies, mainly Royal Air Force and Royal Navy ones there. The Korean section is rather large, you can see all the stripes. Again, didn't realise how many I had, but there you go. The joys of collecting. Right, on to Bay 5. Hopefully you can still hear me okay, and the collection is not conked out yet. We've got 5 Hellcats on the top there, including a Royal Naval version of the Pacific Fleet. Then the first look at the P-40s I have. Got a Legends one at the back. Sorry, not Legends, of Warbirds. DR at the back there, the Royal Air Force one, which I think is a New Zealand one, and the Royal Australian Air Force one. You've got Pearl Harbor ones at the front there, 2 different brands, so Forces of Valor and Corgi. There's a big difference in terms of the size and numbers. And then you've got a Hobby Master one, an Atlas Russian one, then a Corgi Aleutian Tiger, a Matchbox one, and behind that is an easy model Aleutian Tiger. We have sound now, thank fuck. Just get to the good stuff, Bomber Command. Yeah, we'll get there in a minute, mate, but the way I'm talking will be about 3 hours. Right, on to Avengers. Mainly Hobby Master and the Corgi Predator range in now. But you do have an Oxford one as well. And then going down slightly, you've got a Rogue Hellcat at the front there because you didn't have nowhere to go. Some more Dauntlesses. My only Devastator, which, to be fair, I need to get more of that, is one hell of a beautiful model. It's an ugly model, but it's a beauty. And then a few more Avengers, including George Bush's. Don't be too long, he's got work on Tuesday. Yeah, well, settle in, pal. Then we're on to some of the gorgeous Corsairs. So this one here is the Corgi deck one, and I've got a dragon next to it because they look very similar. And then mainly Corgi along now, as you can see. And then onto the lower deck, you've got more Corgi, which is the Royal Naval version. You've got the Suez French version. And then you've got the Ireland set, which comes with a Zero with it, but I thought I'd just put all the Corsairs in it. I thought it looked the business. And then more Corsairs, because why the hell not? I mean, why just have about 2 Corsairs when you can have about 20 odd, eh? You've got the Birdcage one at the back there. And you've got an Oxford one, Royal Naval one at the back there, and an easy model one, which is quite nice with the 4 blades. Then on to the smaller naval aircraft, so a few Brewster Buffaloes, including an Atlas Royal Australian Air Force one. I really quite like that early scheme, the yellow, grey and blue. And then into Wildcats, so you've got another early Wildcat in there. You've got a Royal Air Force Martlet in the desert scheme from Warmaster. And that beautiful IXO one, which is in the D-Day stripes, which was made by Gary Jukes, I believe, which is very kind of him. And then on to the Hellcats. I'll get to your bits of the set. So yeah, absolutely agree, James. The Corsairs are a lovely kit. No, David, I haven't got all the Corsairs as yet. I believe there's 2 that I need to get from Corgi. One of which is a Korean one with a motive on. I forget what the motive is. And there's another one which is very similar to the USS Essex with a yellow cow, I believe. So I haven't got that yet. So on to the Germans. On to Zehan and Zisan. I don't know if I can say that in 2021. I'll probably get arrested. So you've got the new mould ME109s along the top there, which I believe this one here might have been, I think that's a Dragon one. So I've got a couple of early Dragons in there, which are really difficult to find. Then the older style ME109s. These are probably glued in the undercarriage because they're an absolute pig. Then on to the Fs. So we've got a couple of ME108s in there as well, including Rommel's, Taxi and an Atlas one. So that's an Oxford, the ME108, but a nice little model nonetheless. So a few Fs there. Volt, including IXOs, you've got Corgi and also Geminis as well. Then on to the Gustavs, including a few brands as well, and then mainly Corgi. You've got a couple of Dragons and IXO. That's a Dragon one with the open canopy, and of course a Matchbox at the back, which is gorgeous. And then onto the Desert ME109s, various makes and various marks in terms of E's. I think there's E's, F and G's all on that shelf there. Then on to the rather chunky Stuka, which you don't realise is that big. It's huge when you try and put them onto the shelf. And another shelf of Stukas, including a few desert ones in there as well. Again, various makes. You've got Hobby Master, Stroke, Corgi, Predators. You've got Oxford, you've got an IXO, and I think there's an Atlas in there as well. And then the bottom 2 shelves are the Fokker Wolf. So again, various brands in there, including there's a lovely that one at the back there is actually a Matchbox, and it's stunning. It's really, really nice bit of kit. And again, various makes on there. So you've got the Warbirds range at the back. You've got a magazine version, which is the black and white cowl to the right, and the one to the left is a Corgi, which is really, really hard to find. And it's a lovely bit. And there's an IXO as well on the far right corner, including one Lone Dora, which is an Atlas one. Right, on to the next bay. Whew, I'm knackered. So the next bay, some of my favourite models, the Bearcats, all along the top there. I've got 7 Bearcats in total. Probably worth about £1 million between them there because they go for an absolute fortune. And then more P38, so that's the most recent one, Miss Virginia. Sorry, not the most recent one, because there's Happy Jack's Go Buggy somewhere, but I've probably gone past it, to be fair. And also that's a Code 3 RAF one there, made from, I'm guessing, Easy Does It. And then more P47s, various brands in there. That's an IXO dead ahead. You've got, that's a Corgi, and you've got some Dragon in there as well. Then onto the Jap stuff, so lots of Heinz. You've got a Val in there, a few different Zeros, and including a Nakajima and an Oscar. And then a whole shelf of Zeros all the way along now, which is mainly Corgi. You've got a couple of, got an Atlas in the back, and I believe a magazine model one there on the right. And then onto more Japanese stuff, including some of the magazine stuff. You've got Kate's, Val's, you have an NI K2 Shinden Kai, another Kate, I think that's a Riser Kai and a Dina. And then onto Mother Russia, so IL2s, IL10, an LA5, I16, another LA5, got a German LA5, got a lone Hind there as well, and a Yak 3 at the back. And then more Yaks, got P40, a couple of I16s, and two MiG 3s, a Yak 9, Yak 3, Spitfire, LA7, MiG 9, and a LA5, a P40 and a Hurricane. And on the bottom shelf, Falgores, G55s, CR32, CR42, and another biplane that escapes me. So we've got everything covered on that side. Then on to more heavy metal. So we've got the blue nose or the blue cowled Mustangs with the yellow noses, various mates. We've got Dragon, IXO, and also an Atlas one, which come with a pair with a FW190. Then on to all the Phantoms that I have, and at one point I was like, oh, Phantoms, I don't get it, but then you get one in and they're stunning. These are mainly Corgi all the way along here. So these are all Corgi, in fact. And then you've got a Vietnamese Bearcat that just didn't have anywhere else to go other than there. Then on to the next shelf, got first of the Hobby Master Phantoms. So that's the Gulf War Yank one. Then you got the lovely VMF A235, this gorgeous Hobby Master Phantom, and then 4 more Corgis, including a couple of different Blue Angels. So you got 1 and 4. Then you have another Corgi RAF Lightning, Hobby Master Lightning, Phantom, a Hobby Master Phantom, a gorgeous Gemini Phantom, which is probably my favourite of the lot, with the Spey engines, and then the Egyptian Air Force Phantom, because I mean, why not? Why not have an Egyptian Air Force one? Then on to Tonkers, 2 of the retirement trio. So I haven't got the gold side yet, so I've got the Bat and the Camo, and you've got the Royal Aircraft Establishment Tonker as well. Then a couple of Gulf Warbirds, Honington one, a Revel Diecast Tornado, and that one's a Hachette Tornado, which doesn't have the wings that move. And that one at the back there, that GR4, I think it's a GR4, it might be a GR7, I'm not 100% certain on Harrier brands, but that's actually a Corgi flight one, which stuck on a Corgi more. Actually looks pretty decent with all that lot. And then onto the next shelf, with the exception of the German one at the back there, these are all Witty Wings F1s, obviously the fighter variant. Then onto the next shelf, we've got the GNA, or Gina as it was known. That's the Corgi Typhoon. You've got the RAF Hawk, various other Hawks, including 5 red arrows. And then on the bottom shelf, a couple of Typhoons and 6 different, and all different sort of schemes as well as they'd have in terms of the Jaguars as well. So, on to the next bit. Now on to the Desert Air Force P40s. Mainly Corgi, got an IXO there, and then the very end one is in fact a Hobby Master later, which is an N. And then various different P40s as well, including more Desert Air Force stuff, and then US Desert Air Force before going into the Flying Tigers brand, which again all various. So you've got Corgi, Oxford, Matchbox, and I think maybe even an IXO in there, or an Atlas, sorry, as well. Then on to the P39s. Cannot believe how many P39s I had. Mainly Hobbymaster, but include an IXO and an Oxford as well, which, as you can see, the Oxford one is on a Corgi stand there, and that's the Hobbymaster version. Then on to Meteors and the Lone Sea Vixen, which is by, the brain's gone, Aviation 72. It's a different version, including the 3 newest Meteors as well. Then on to the lovely Hawker Hunter, including the Swiss version, the German-based version, the Legends version, and the Red Devil. And then on to Misdemeanor, which is the lovely Code 3 by Dave Hunt, and some various other display team versions, including the Black Arrow, Blue Arrows, and more the Royal Aircraft establishment versions, and the RF Broadry one. Then on to Buccaneers. Again, hefty old lumps these. Then on to Lightnings, including my one and only 148 Lightning, a Jet Provost in there as well, and a Seahawk. And on the bottom shelf are different versions of the Harrier and 3 Vampires, all by Corgi. Right, on to the next bay. We're getting to Bomber Command, James. We're getting there, mate. This is a whole shelf of different F-86 Sabres, so keeping with the early jet theme. And then onto some American naval stuff, so the F9 Panther. You've got a Seahawk in there, and I think it's a T-84. Someone can correct me if they like. And then we've got some Sky Raiders, so a bit of a Vietnam stroke Korea theme. Got 4 Sky Raiders and some Korean Mustangs, all various brands. Then my sort of one and only American jet shelf, so an F-18, F-100 Super Sabre. Got some not Seahawks. Brain's gone dead. Skyhawks, A10 and an F-15. Then you got the Russian hardware, so MiG-15s, MiG-21s, and the gorgeous caliber Su-24 Ukrainian Fencer. Then with World War I section, so you got a SPAD, a couple of SC-5As, the Bristol Fighter, a couple of Albatrosses, a pup, and a lone Hobbymaster pea shooter. And then some more of the remaining FW190s, including the later marked Doras as well. There we go. Right, now on to sort of Royal Naval hardware. So we've got Diecast Seafires, which don't really exist. All of these are Code 3s made by the lovely Dave Hunt. One was made by me right at the back. The better stuff is all made by Dave towards the front there. Really good. And next to that, 5 Harvards or Texans, T6s, whatever you want to call them. Then the lovely Millennium shelf, including Mark 4s and Mark 1s, including both Night Fighters, Mark 1 and Mark 4, and added some trucks in there to sort of add a little bit of a theme to it. But lovely shelf that. And then onto the Blenheim's older brother, the Beaufighter. It's got a Lone Typhoon in there as well. But some great schemes now. That Australia. There we go, that's a bit better. Sorry, it just went a little bit funny then. So then on to Catalina's, got a few Swordfish chucked in there as well. So you've got the D-Day one, which is a Legends one. So I've actually got 5 Royal Naval stroke RAF ones and 4 Yank ones. Well, technically 4 RAF, 1 Canadian, 4 US ones. And then onto that one, you've got the Pearl Harbor one. You've got a D-Day Avenger as well, and the first of the Hornets. And then onto the next shelf, we have a skewer, sorry, not a skewer. That's something you put meat or kebab on. Another couple of Hornets and a beautiful Walrus, and the first of our 172 Sunderlands. Then underneath that, you've got the Tiger Moth float plane, another couple of Hornets, and the other 2 Sunderlands, including the Royal Australian Air Force one and the Pembroke Bay one. And then on the bottom shelf, you've got some Oxford History of Flight aircraft, which is 5 Rapides, a Dove, and an Anson. Right, I don't know if James is still with us. He's probably falling asleep, poor sod. So next one is the Bomber Command bit. So we have my 7 Wellingtons. There we go. including the Coastal Command one, the Merlin engine version as well. It's the Mildenhall base one as well, Canadian Air Force. Then 2 Sterlings and a lone Mustang, which just had nowhere else to go. And the Arthur Robert. I've put a Chinese Mustang there. It's a bit of an inside joke because there was a story that there was a Chinese Sterling, so I thought I'd put a Chinese Mustang there. I had nowhere else to go. Then we've got 5 of my Halifax Halton, so 4 Halifax, 1 Halton. The red one is the Halton, used during the Berlin airlift. So nice chunky display. And then my 18 Lancasters, including 2 Code 3s on the bottom, one which is Coastal Command and one that is Tiger Force. So I'll give you a bit of a slower walk through. And the 4 Dam Busters together. Royal Canadian Air Force Search and Rescue, Phantom of the Ruhr, YZT was a 617. I think that's the Easter egg special one. An F2V, which is the one that's meant to have the Hercules engines on. Now onto the US Air Force stuff. So 16 B-17s there, including the Coastal Command one there on the top. So you've got Memphis Belle, Sweet and Lovely. What's this one here? Miss Manuki. I think that's Flak Eater. And the Coastal Command. Then you've got Bit of Lace, Mi Amigo. That one's a Code 3. And you've got this one here as well, which I can't even see. Yeah, Old Pub, that one. And then Memphis Belle. Another Bit of Lace, which I believe is the Corgi one. The other one up there is actually Air Force One. Mountain Ride, second patches. Then we're on to the B-24, so Coastal Command, the Southeast Asian Command one, Malco, of course, Jimmy Stewart. Then you've got Strawberry Bitch, Booby Trap, 8 Ball, and then the Assembly Ship. And then underneath that, you've got Naughty Nan, which is a Code 3, Pistol Packing Mama, the RAF one, and Dragon and His Tail. Then on the bottom, you've got 909, which is by Air Force One, and you've got the Dragon B-24 as well. So that's all the heavies. Then we're on to the German fighters. So this is just a mixture on the top shelf of Comet, HE, the brain's gone, the Salamander, that's what it's called. You've got the Mustang, obviously, in enemy colours, the Arado, some Henschels, and forgetting the name of the one in the background, which is a Legion Condor one, and also an Oxford ME262. Then we have all the 262s, which are mainly Corgi. You've got an IXO there in front, and there's a Dragon one here, including the 2-seaters, and that's an Amacom right at the front. Then we're on to the JU 52s. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the shelf, including an Arrow. One of the Immelmann 2, obviously, is Hitler's private aircraft. And then Manfred von Richthofen, which is made by a company called Schuko. Then on to the next one, mainly JU-52s, including the Minesweeper, the float plane one. This one here is the Fertile based version from the Salis collection, again made by Schuko. Very, very nice looking model. And another one at the end now. And then we're on to the HE11. So we've got the Finnish based one, the Blitz one, the Legion Condor, France based one. We have the Hindenburg, and we have the Torpedo Bomber, and we have the Syrian, I think it was Syria based Heinkel, including the Storch behind it. Then on to this one, you've got a Battle of Britain one, and then you've got 3 Russian based ones, as you can see, and another Battle of Britain Heinkel there as well. And then we're on to a Ju-88, so that one there is the Russian based one. And then we've got a couple of Battle of Britain ones in there, and various others, including torpedo bombers and so forth. And obviously the desert one. And then the final shelf is all the Dorniers, the 17s and the later models, which are lovely looking molds. And of course, you've got an Arado Blitz on the bottom there as well. There we go. That's about all brilliant ones. Well, only 2 more beige. You'll be pleased to hear. Now we're going to Mustang madness. So we've got all the. Again, the name of the squadron absolutely deserted me at the key point. But a whole shelf dedicated to Bud Anderson's squadron, including Old Crow. Of course, that's Chuck Yeager's ones where you've got Glamorous Glenn, Hurry Home Honey, Nuki Bookie. We've got 2 versions as well, silver and green. Then we're on to the next shelf of Mustangs, various different types, all thrown in there. Various different makes, a few Gemini early ones in there, Forces of Valor one at the front. That's a War Master one behind it. That's a Gemini and the Gemini behind it. You've got Corgi, and Mary Mac, I believe. And the name, I forget, it's just a one-off from a different brand, like Motor Max or something like that. But a nice looking model, and it fits in nicely with the other yellow and black checker tails from Italy. Then we're into more Mustangs. Underneath, that one at the front is an XO, which is quite nice, which is Miss Marilyn 2. You've got another Miss Marilyn. Is that Miss Marilyn? Oh no, the Millie G, which is a dragon and then gunfighter, and they're all tying together nicely. Then we're into Katie Did at the back as well, which is a lovely looking model. If I remember rightly, a pain in the arse to get the undercarriage in. And then we're into the Tuskegees with the red tails and red noses. And various other bits in there. That's an easy model at the front, Duchess Arlene. The one behind it, the B model, is also an easy model. You've got some Witties and Atlases as well. Then onto your RAF Mustangs. So that one at the front is a Warbirds range with undercarriage glued in. You've got a Gemini in there, you've got a Dragon behind that, and then you've got an Atlas behind that. That's also Gemini in the far corner. And you've got the Martlesham-based red and blue diamonds. That's a Corgi Legends one at the front, the shark mouth. Obviously, it used to fly at air shows. You've got Jumping Jack. And then you've got a few like Flying Undertaker, which are Pacific-based. And of course, that one there. Is That Too Fast, which is one of the newer mould ones next to Happy Jack's Go Buggy. You can see quite a few Mustangs, including the other bits. Then on the Remy 110s, got all the Corgis in there. Including some desert ones made by Ixo, Atlas and Hobbymaster. That one is a magazine one with the yellow nose. And Hess's one as well. Then there's a few Russian-based ones and Night Fighters. And then into the Uhus made by Warmaster and Ixo. Then we're on to a few jets. So we've got a B-52, just a lone B-52, 4 Canberras, and the remaining 3 ME-10s. Right, finally, into the final corner, we've got some Spitfires on the top that are just literally just run out of room for all various types. We've got some desert ones in there, Merlin's over Malta. We've got a Danish one which was made code free, a couple of Ixos. Then I've got my Silver Wings collection. This is one of my favourite shelves, including Furies, Hearts and Audax, Demons. I've got a couple of Gladiators in there, or a few Gladiators in there, a Lysander and a Pussmuff as well. Oh, and a Bulldog made by Amacom. Lovely looking shelf. Didn't sell particularly well, but looks the absolute nuts. Then on to Dakotas, of which I have 8 in total, I believe. So we've got the Camel Caravan, which is a Berlin airlift one. My code free D-Day Dakota, which does stand up all right. Oh, Jace. You've got Quit Your Bitchin' and the other BBMF Dakota as well, escorted by a couple of Spitfires. I believe one of them is in fact a code free, which I made a BBMF one. I don't know if you can see it yet. There it is. I don't know if you can see that. FSH, which is the Mark V AB910, I think it is, and that's an old BBMF scheme as well. Then you've got a pair of Gladiators. One is Oxford, and one is Corgi with the actual stand. Then I've got this one-off. It's got damaged tail, but this is a one-off pre-production Corgi Dakota from Air Atlantic. Which I've got the only one in existence to my knowledge. And then 3 D-Day ones, so you've got the Pottery one, That's All Brother, and Buzz Buggy, which finally fell into my hands a couple of months back. Then we're on to the medium bombers, so we've got a cluster of B-25, so you've got Legal Eagle, you've got the Dragon-nosed one, Heavenly Body, you've got the RAF D-Day one, we've got 2 of them in fact.
in the Grumpy scheme. You've got the PBY and this lovely Forces of Valor B26. And then you've got 3 of the Doolittle Raiders. The 4th one is by Air Force One, which I haven't got as yet. And then you've got a few more Cannon Nose versions, including the lovely Bat Out of Hell and Betty's Dream, which are very hard to find. And that is a Forces of Valor version now. Then on to more medium bombers, the final bit. So you've got 3 A26s, including 2 from Korea. 3 A20s, including La France Libre and a P61 Black Widow. And the final shelf is just a few, mainly Chinooks, got Wessex on there, Huey, and some other bits and pieces from helicopters. Most of the helicopters in my work office. You want me to go back to the USSR? I'm going back to the USSR. I haven't got my guitar in here, otherwise I'd plug it in and amp her up. Right, so here we go. Let's have a look at the USSR version. So if I can light that a bit better for you. So there's the USSR. The collection really consists of Yak 9s, Yak 3s, MiG 3s, LA 5s, LA 7s, I-16s, P-40s, there's a Hurricane, IL-2 and IL-10. What else we got? I think that's probably about it, actually, looking at it. Yep, that's probably about all the aircraft I think I have in terms of Russian. So I hope you enjoyed them. I'll give you a bit more. And then that one there. There you go, mate. How many do I have in total? On display, Stuart, 1,304, I believe. And that doesn't include the stuff under the table, which is all for sale, and other loose stuff, which I've whacked in storage because they were all mainly doubles or damaged, which I haven't had a chance to repair as yet. So, yeah, it's over 1,300. I do have a list, which I can put on Insta Stories at some point. 1,300. 16 bays. I didn't even cover the top stuff. I don't know if you can see. Along the very top, you've got some 132s, which, if I have to be honest with you, a bit of an afterthought. I was going to sell them all. Oh, what do I have tornado-wise? Right, there we go. Right, tornado-wise, I don't have anything from Lake and Heath. Long story, I was going to get the D-Day ones, but I've not had a chance to catch up with Andy yet. Things have gone horribly wrong at some point, which I won't quite share with you just yet. So there's my Tonka collection. Let me try so I can get one of the lights from the pool table to illuminate. So we've got 3 shelves of the GRs and a shelf of the F1s, which are all witty. There we go. So I've got 2 of the retirement ones, but I do need to get the Gold Star. You forget how big they are, they take up quite a bit of room. Excuse me. So, for those who are wondering why it's so poorly lit, well, originally, this light here and that light there was going to have, along this bit, track lighting. All the way along there, to the corner, then up there. So then you'd have individual lights pointing down on each bay. Well, for reasons I'm not going to talk about just yet, we've abandoned that idea and just put 2 separate lights in. I'm sure I'll talk about it further down the line, but yeah, that was the original plan. I don't know if there's something I can do in the short term, but yeah, obviously it costs a lot of money to do that in the first place, and I'm not quite sure if it's the right investment right now, if that makes any sense. So that's why the lighting isn't amazing, but do you know what? I couldn't really give a shit. It's still pretty. I'm pretty impressed with it. But it's also quite frightening. Now, originally I only wanted to do 10 bays. If I hadn't have done 16, they wouldn't have got all the way out. And as you can tell, like shelves like this, I've had to have extra shelves to it. You know, it's pretty crammed in there. It's not spaced out as much as I envisaged it. But my God, you don't realise. I mean, just in terms of Spitfires, how crazy things have got with it. Just in Hurricanes, they've got half a bay's worth of Hurricanes. Yeah. So originally this was designed to put glass doors on, but again, with everything, cost comes into it. And even with glass doors, it doesn't stop dust, does it? You still got to take them out and dust them. It's amazing how much dust you get in that. Yeah, it's a bit painful. I've started doing some of them. I started this end. I was going to do a bay a month, but for the time being, I'm putting that on ice, but we'll see. Like I said, there's challenges that come up that you don't realise, and we're facing into one of those challenges right now. So we'll see what's going on a little further down the line and maybe make a few amendments as we go. But yeah, this is the Mancave. It's taken, well, how long we've been together? It's 2004, so 17 years together. It's always been a dream of doing it. But when I first started, I probably had, just to put it into perspective, when we lived at our old house, I had this much, 3 bays. It wasn't as packed as this. In the space of 6 years of living here, all of this, in reality, has joined the collection. And of course, it was all sitting in a shed. It was all sitting in storage. It's pretty damn cool. I've got everything I need out here. I've got my darts board. I've got my Beatles. I've got a TV if I want to put a film on while something. I've got, obviously, I think I talked about this in the first video. My Mike Bannister signed Concorde picture. I could put loads of. I've got more aviation pictures, but it's a time of getting them up. And of course, ultimately, I've got my American pool table, which is just a dream, an absolute dream. But don't take it all for granted. This has all been hard work. This isn't me sitting on my arse claiming benefits or anything like this. This is, this is blood, sweat, tears, arguments. Wanting to rip your hair out, the whole lot. It's been a hell of a mission to get to this stage, and I'm pretty damn proud of it. I guess there's not many collections, not in this country, but around the world that are this big and this excessive, especially mainly on World War II. I'd like to think I've got one of the better collections out there, but it's all been hard work getting to that stage, spending money I didn't really have, going to air shows and loading boots up with boxes galore as things get a bit, as you end up buying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 models or whatever it is. And I don't think knows. There's Goat Man. Some say he looks a bit like James Foster, but that's just merely a coincidence. So yeah. So look, I hope you enjoyed it. Apologies, the first video, for some reason the sound went completely doolally. I've held off doing it because I've needed an extension to the Wi-Fi, which went in yesterday. But I think when I did the video, I ended up covering it up with my thumb. So what I'm probably going to do, if I do get a chance, there's a hell of a lot going on at the minute, is do pictures bay by bay, maybe shelf by shelf. So keep an eye out for that. But if you've got any requests, just drop us a DM. I'm more than happy to go into it. I'll do it bay by bay and then just go to one by one eventually, like that. They've all got to come off and be cleaned at some point. Excuse me. So I need to get to all of them at some point. But yeah, look, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you're enjoying your Saturday night. I'm going to go and watch the boxing now. I don't even know what the rugby score is. If anyone can let me know where Australia went, that'd be brilliant. But most importantly, Dagenham and Redbridge won 4-1 away at Maidenhead today. So it's cheered me up. I've got the little one's got his match tomorrow against Epping. As he continues, he was man the match last week. So made me a very, very proud dad moment seeing Rafe really control as centre-back. Oh, we won. Oh, fantastic. I thought we played really well, actually, to be honest with you, David. So that's great news. That's all right. It's a double. Shame we didn't make the T20 final for the cricket tomorrow, but there you go. It's one of them things, isn't it? Look, that's it from me. I hope you all have a lovely weekend, a lovely evening. Like I said, any feedback or request, just let me know. I'll share this on the page anyhow, and we'll go from there. Thanks a lot. Take care. Much love.